Praise God from grace all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him, all creatures here below.
We welcome Oak Grovers as well as guests among us today. We're glad you're here. This is a special day for us. It's what we call our Harvest Home Service. But as part of this celebration, we are celebrating a great day of singing. And this is connected with the new hymnal project. And one of the things that they had suggested is that we identify what they call our heart songs, which means songs that are close to our heart, that have special meaning for us. So about 6 weeks ago, we included a little tear-off in our bulletin that people could write in hymns. And we had over 20, probably close to 30, suggested. And some of those, I think there were 7 that were either 2 or 3 times that people had suggested them. So we have lots of music to choose from, and I can't promise that we will sing your heart song today, but I'll let Bradley take the heat for that. I would like to introduce Bradley Kaufman. He is the, let me get this correct, Director and General Editor for Resonate, which is the project that is generating this new hymnal for Mennonite Church Canada and Mennonite Church USA. And prior to this job, Bradley has been involved in Mennonite education for 18 years at Iowa Mennonite School, at Bethany Christian Schools, and at Heston College, all in music, as well as music within the community. He has a degree from Goshen College and also from the University of Iowa. He is married to Renee Kanegi, and they have 2 children, a daughter, Luca, who is with us this morning, and I think we'll hear from her, and a son, Rowan. And so I'm going to turn this time over to Bradley. I have asked that we could probably wrap it up about 10:15 so that you have a few minutes if you need a break, and then you can come back for worship, which will start at 10:30, and the handbells will be playing, so you will not want to miss that. Welcome, Bradley.
Good morning. I'm really excited to be here at Oak Grove this morning, and just grateful for the energy that we've seen across the denominations for the great day of singing. It's an initiative, like Pastor Miriam said, that we've invited the church to take part in to help us test a small collection of material and begin that sort of process in the course of our feedback. There's so much I could say this morning about what's happening with Resonate and that project, and if your questions aren't answered this morning, I hope you'll come and find me later and we can have some of those one-on-one conversations. I have here your list, the Oak Grove list of heart songs, and I'm delighted to engage that. This is like gold to us when we receive these heart songs from churches, from individuals and congregations, and we get to interact with what are on those lists for people. And it's informative for us, and it's something that we take very seriously and prayerfully as well. Let's begin. Let's begin with Hymnal Worship Book number 26. I'm going to systematically work through the heart songs that were named more than once in this congregation, and we'll have time then for hopefully a number of others as well. Holy Spirit, come with power. This text is by a Mennonite writer, Ann Roop, who lived in North Newton, Kansas. We are a little bit spread out here, so if you're inclined to move it all toward the middle, that would be wonderful. That will enhance this experience for us. Let's stand together, and I invite you to consider moving to the center a little bit.
Holy Spirit, come with power, breathe into our aching night. We expect you this glad hour, waiting for your strength.
I would love to keep this really informal too, so if we get to a song that you have requested, if you're inspired to share just spontaneously what it is that connects you to, how that song connects with your heart, that would enrich this time too. So feel free to lead out with those. Just interrupt as we go along. 150. Wonderful grace of Jesus.
Wonderful grace of Jesus, greater than all my sin. How shall my tongue describe it? Where shall its praise begin? Taking away my burden, setting my spirit free, for the wonderful grace of Jesus reaches me. Wonderful, the matchless grace of Jesus, deeper than the mighty rolling sea. Higher than the mountains, like a fountain, all sufficient grace for even me. Broader than the scope of my transgression, greater far than all my sin and shame. Oh, magnify the precious name of Jesus. Praise His name. Verse 2. Wonderful grace of Jesus, reaching to all the lost. By His hath been pardoned, saved to the uttermost. Chains have been torn asunder, giving me liberty. For the wonderful grace of Jesus reaches me. Wonderful, the matchless grace of Jesus, deeper than the mighty rolling sea. Higher than the mountains, like a fountain, all sufficient grace for even me. Broader than the scope of my transgression, greater far than all my sin and shame. Oh, magnify the precious name of Jesus. Praise His name.
I have loved this song ever since I first sang it in high school in Burton Mennonite Church Choir, and it brings back memories of a choir that we were involved in Bogota, Colombia, and final to a kind of a drama we did that just brought tears to everybody's eyes by the time we were done.
Thank you for sharing that memory. What book or what collection would it have been in and that you learned it?
Would have been the GC hymnal way back
Mhm.
when.
Mhm. Sure, thank you. 343. My hope is built on nothing less. We'll do verses 1 and 5. But my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly lean on Jesus' name. As a solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. 352, 352. From Bill and Gloria Gaither. Here we go. Gentle shepherd, come and lead us, for we need you to help us find our way. Gentle shepherd, come and feed us, for we need your strength from day to day. There's no other we can turn to who can help us face another day. Gentle shepherd, come and lead us, for we need you to help us find our way. In Sing the Journey, number 13. When we sing Mary's Magnificat, we're echoing her profound prayer. I always think it's important to frame that when we sing "My soul is filled with joy." We're following in the footsteps of Mary. Let's stand together and sing a couple of verses of this. Let's do 1, 2, and 4. My soul is filled with joy as I sing to God my Savior. You have looked upon your servant. You have visited your people, and holy is your name through all generations. Everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name. I am lonely as a child, but I know from this day forward that my name will be remembered, for all will call me blessed, and holy is your name through all generations. Everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name. Verse 4. To the hungry you give food, send the rich away empty. In your mercy you are mindful of the people you have chosen, and holy is your name through all generations. Everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your Shall we gather at the river? 615 in the Blue Book, 615. Again, feel free to share out your stories as they come to mind. 72. When all thy mercies, oh my God. We'll sing the first two verses of this. Let's stand for a couple verses of When All Thy Mercies. When all Great.
And I remember singing it as a family, like it's fun when we're learning parts.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to do this in bands and thousands.
Right. Thank you for that. It's such an energizing and enthralling song.
I learned it at Goshen.
Goshen, okay.
We sang it a lot in chapel.
Uh-huh. Is it sung much at Oak Grove? Yeah. In my experience, it's not sung very much anymore, but when it is, it's invigorating. Thank you for those stories. Pastor Miriam used the phrase heart songs, which is an imperfect label, an imperfect way of talking about the songs that we love. We intentionally kind of stay away from the word favorite, which can kind of be empty and hollow. But a heart song begins to attach us to a story of some kind. And so when you share these stories, they really enrich our time. Let's do 143. 1 and 6, verses 1 and 6.
Grace, how sweet the sound.
Let's turn back to the green, Sing the Journey, number 54.
You might have a comment about how you choose music. When I think of Amazing Grace, I remember preaching in a small country church one time, and the old Mennonite hymnal, there was only 5 verses. And the song leader got up and said, well, that's just like Mennonites, leave out the most important verse.
Right?
But he didn't know that John Newton only wrote the first 5 verses.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up because there are so many considerations when we're looking at, especially at heart songs that have been in our hearts for generations. Because very often there are verses that we've never sung, we've never known about. There's sometimes are dozens of verses to some of our old favorites, and sometimes there are quite lovely things that we haven't been singing, and it's so interesting to go back to original sources and study those things. Another small window into our work, as I sing "Longing for Light," which is a song that I've enjoyed leading many times. I'll just raise the fact that this song raises a flag for us because one of the many things that we're working to care for is language and how language is used and how language invites us in or creates barriers to our coming into worship together. And one of the things that we're sensitive to and paying attention to is the prolific way that the word darkness is associated with things that are bad or sin or evil. And for people of color, this can be an extremely damaging thing to constantly be hearing that darkness is a problem. And we hear that from brothers and sisters of color, that particularly hearing white people sing about getting away from darkness can be damaging. And so this is a song that kind of pushes that button with us. And it's not that we can eradicate all those images. It's not that we can change all those words or that we would if we could. But it's something that we pay attention to. And where can we find ways that darkness is celebrated to balance some of those things? I think we need to do all these verses. Longing for light, we wait in darkness. Longing for truth, we turn to you. Make us your own, your holy people, light for the world to see. Christ be our light, shine in our heart, shine through the darkness. Christ be our light, shine in your church, gathered today. Longing for peace, our world is troubled. Longing for hope, many despair. Midward alone has power to save us. Make us your living hope. Christ be our light, shine in our hearts, shine through the darkness. Christ be our light, shine in your church, gathered today. Longing for food, many are hungry. Longing for water, many still thirst. Make us your bread, broken for others, shared until all are fed. Christ be our light, shine in our hearts, shine through the darkness. Christ be our light, shine in your church, gathered today. Longing for shelter, many are homeless. Longing for warmth, many are cold. Make us your building, sheltering others, walls made of living I'm going to sneak in one of my own choosing. Number 233 in Hymnal Worship Book. Because it illustrates what I was talking about a moment ago. Some will know, some of you may know Tony Brown, who is a terrific baritone singer, singer of spirituals and other kinds of classical literature. Tony was on the 1992 committee that produced Hymnal, a Worship Book, and Tony appealed to that committee to address this baggage that darkness has. And out of that came Brian Wren, who's a prominent English hymn writer, responded to that urging, and he wrote this text for this collection, for this book. Joyful is the dark. Since that time, other denominations have picked up this hymn and set it to different tunes, and it's taken on a life of its own. Let's do a couple of verses of this, verses 1 and 2.
Joyful is the dark, holy hidden God, rolling cloud of night beyond all naming. Majesty in darkness, energy of love, word in flesh, the mystery proclaimed.
Since this is somewhat unfamiliar, I'm going to ask Kathy to reinforce this a little bit. Let's take verse 1 again, and then we'll sing verse 5.
Joyful is the dark, holy hidden God, rolling cloud of night beyond all naming. Majesty in process, energy of
I know a number of congregations for whom this is at the top of their heart songs. Joyful is the dark. It's also, I should have said, the tune was written by Philip Clemens, Mennonite composer. How are we doing with time here? Okay, we have time for a little bit more. Let's sing a song for harvest season, number 98 in the Blue Book. Sing to the Lord of Harvest.
Sing to the Lord of harvest, sing songs of love and praise, with joyful hearts and voices, your hallelujahs raise. For in the rolling seasons, in
327. 327, great is thy faithfulness.
The first two verses.
Two things to say about that song. One, it's significant as we face our 200th anniversary. We've chosen that song as sort of our theme. And so those of you that are will get opportunity again in 2018 to sing it again and hear it again, possibly in some other forms. The other thing that I think about from my childhood is attending Church of the Brethren Conference, and that song being one that was often led as a gathering song of celebrating God's faithfulness for us as a congregation, as a denomination.
Thank you. Excuse me, 589. I think we have time for two more. 589, and then one more.
My shepherd will supply my need. Jehovah is his name. In pastures fresh he makes me free beside the living stream. He brings my wandering spirit back when I forsake his ways, and leads me for his mercy's sake in paths of truth and grace.
Number 118 was requested 3 times. And I know what everyone's wondering is, will it still be 118 in the new collection? And I can't promise that. Let's stand together, in body or in spirit.
Praise God from grace all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him, all 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 heavenly hosts. Praise Him above, praise Him above, praise Him above the heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Hallelujah, 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 amen, amen, hallelujah, 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 amen, amen, hallelujah, amen,
My favorite memory of this one comes from about 1969, a couple of years ago. Mennonite Charismatic Camp meeting outside of Goshen, Indiana. I had about 400 to 500 people there. And Frank Bishop got up and said, 606, and we all stood up and they sang it from memory.
In 69?
Pardon?
In 69, you sang it?
Huh? What's the name? In the 70s. Anyway,
Sure.
it was just, he said 606, we all stood up
Sure.
and sang Go Hymn Book.
Yeah. Those are memorable moments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're all warmed up. Now we're ready for more singing in our worship time. But I will give you a time for a short break. We invite you back here promptly for 10:30. Thank you, Bradley.
praise God from grace